So DJI released a brand new drone. Now, if you don't know what FPV drones are, FPV drones are not like your regular drones. So FPV drones are more crazier than your regular drones. With regular drones, like the ones that they released before, they have sensors and propellers and everything. So regular drones are a lot easier to fly. But with FPV drones are like racing cars. So you know when you buy when you buy those small drones and you move the gears and you do a little bit of a move, it just flies very quickly. So these FPV drones can cover a lot of ground very quickly, and they're super fast as well. This isn't the fastest FPV drone. It's in the middle of, slow and fast, but it's super fast compared to a regular drone. Now with FPV drone, normally with FPV drones, you build them out yourself. It's not like you can go to the store and there's already made FPV drones. Normally you buy the FPV drones, you buy the goggles, and then you buy a GoPro. So what you would do is you would strip the GoPro down and you remove all the cage and everything, and then you put it on the FPV drone. So the FPV drone will have its own camera, but then the GoPro will be on top of the FPV drone as well. So the own camera for the FPV drone is what you're seeing in the goggles. So you're not actually seeing what the drone is seeing. Now, in different countries, there's different laws with drones as well. So there's rules with drones. And I think in Canada, you have to have a license to fly a drone. If you don't have a license, you can get into big trouble. And I think the size of the drone matters as well, because if you have a big drone and you don't have a license, you get into trouble. But I think with the small drone, if you have a small drone, you can't get into trouble with small drones. And I think it shoots 4K. There's no cinematic mode on this like profile picture that you can use, but the benefit of shooting in 4K is that you can, like I've said in my previous video, is that you can zoom in and zoom out and not lose any quality. So it shoots 4K 60p, which is 60 FPS, and you're not going to lose any quality because you have more pixels. The more pixels you have, the more you zoom in, the more quality you lose in. So you need more pixels so that you don't lose any of that sharpness. Now if you shoot in 1080p and you zoom in, it's not going to look as good as 4K. And it has a 2-axis gimbal. So normally gimbals are 3-axis gimbals. So this is a 2-axis gimbal. Now it goes up and down like this, so it doesn't go left and right, it goes up and down for stabilization. There are 2-axis gimbals available. I think the Zhang Weeble S, not the Zhang gimbals for the smartphones are 2-axis gimbals as well, but 3-axis gimbals are better than 2-axis gimbals. It comes with the goggles and the control. So the goggles was already out before the control. So you could use the goggles with other FPV drones as well. So you could use the goggles with other FPV drones. I heard that it comes with a new joystick. So you don't have to use this controller. You can just use the joystick on its own. And I think the joystick on its own is a lot easier because you can use it with one hand, whereas the joystick is like a PlayStation joystick or an Xbox. Of course, it comes with the battery. I think the flight time is 20 minutes. So you get 20-minute flight time before the battery dies out. So this is the joystick that I'm talking about as well. So this is the joystick, and I think this joystick is the first joystick to ever come with an FPV drone, because with FPV drones they're normally like a PlayStation. So that's the joystick. You can also change the range of the goggles as well, so that you can get a better signal as well. But do bear in mind, different countries have different laws for different radio frequencies and stuff like that. So the price for the FPV drone is 1,249. So the full kit is 1,249, and then you can get the motion controller for 139. So that's a little bit expensive, but it's an FPV drone, and you're getting a lot. So with the FPV drones, there's free flight mode. Now if you're a first-time user to an FPV drone, you want to start easy. There's limitations with the first flight mode. This has a feature where you can put it in standby mode. So let's say you're about to crash, you can just put it in standby mode, and then you don't get to crash the FPV drone as well. I would say that the Mavic Air Mini has a little bit better specs, I would say, because the photo resolution on this one is 8 megapixels, while this one is 12 megapixels. in terms of pixels, you've got stuff like dynamic range as well, which, you know, people say more dynamic range is better than more pixels, and vice versa as well. But there are benefits to those people who have more dynamic range in their camera, and the benefit of having more dynamic range means that you can recover those highlights in post. If you fly the FPV drone far away, you can lose signal as well, so that can drop out.